So in this video, I will be going over the first major skill you need to learn to be able to do origami, which is how to fold a nice, sharp, clean fold. So many of you may be sitting there going, well, why is this important? Well, one of the reasons why this is important is when you get into even basic models like cranes, when you have a nice sharp fold, it will make your life a lot easier because it will make folding easier, as well as it'll make your work look cleaner once it's finished. So this is an example of a nice clean fold. As you can see, I can flip it over. It has a nice sharp edge. Even if I flip it over in the back, you can still very much see where my fold was. Now, here's an example of a not so great fold. So if you can see where I kind of did this on the diagonal, as you can see, it's very faint. You can see that, yes, there is a fold there. And this would be an example of a bad fold. Now, how can I create a nice, clean fold? Well, first of all, there's two methods, and it really just matters on what you're comfortable with, what works, what you have. So one method I have is you can just use your fingers. So the first step, I'm going to do what we call a hamburger fold. So I'm just basically folding this on a vertical line. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to make sure that my edges match up before I even start putting any pressure on where my fold is. This is important because if you don't have your edges lined up, then you can make a mistake and your fold will be in the wrong place. Okay, now that I have my edges in the right place, what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of lightly go over where my crease is going to be. Now, I'm going to use my fingers and I'm just going to go right around the edge and kind of pinch and pull. Okay, so now if I undo this, you see I have a nice, very clean fold. Now, I kind of pushed a little bit too hard on this one because you kind of can see where my nails are. Also, too, this is really, really cheap paper. So just be careful with your paper not to push too hard because sometimes you can get these wrinkles. Okay. Now, another method I can do is, let's say, for example, I have very basic nails, but let's say you would have press-on nails. Some people, maybe you have mobility issues with it being able to pinch like that. That is fine. You can use this is actually an old hotel key, but you can use any sort of kind of hard plastic thing, old gift cards. If you're really fancy and let's say you do some beadwork, you have one of those fancy bone, it's one of those fancy, bone finders? No. Okay, the name escapes me. Anyways, I'll have a picture of it above. Anyways, you can use one of those. It doesn't really matter. Whatever works. Whatever you have, it'll work. So I'm going to grab this piece of paper again, where I have my one nice fold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, again, kind of just turning it, folding it the other way. So again, one thing I want to make sure when I do this is I'm going to make sure that my edges line up. You especially want to be careful with this method because I found sometimes if you aren't careful when you do it, kind of this sort of pre-fold a little bit, you can, when you use the card to go over the edges, sometimes it will like shift slightly and then your fold is kind of wonky. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with my fingernails, but I'm going to use a card now. I go across the edge, and as you see, nice clean fold. This one doesn't kind of have my weird fingernails on it, but as you can see, nice clean fold. I'm ready to go. All right, so that concludes how to make a nice crease or a nice fold. In my next video, I'll be going over how to fold both a mountain, valley, inside reverse fold, and an outside reverse fold. Okay, bye y'all. Happy folding.